let's dive in. Today we're tackling Plato, but not just the usual surface level stuff. We're going deep beyond platonic love and all that. I think a lot of people have heard of Plato, but maybe don't really get what he was all about and why his ideas still matter like over 2,000 years later. So to guide us, we've got Testo and Calato. It's a collection of excerpts that lay out some of his key concepts, you know, the world of ideas, the allegory of the cave, even what Plato really meant by platonic love.
It is amazing how relevant Plato still is to, I mean, he was asking questions about reality, knowledge, justice, how to live a good life. I mean, these are things we're still grappling with today.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so Testo and Calato kicks off with this idea of the world of ideas.
Right.
It sounds kind of out there.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
So imagine, right? Everything you see around you, this table, that microphone, even ourselves, these are just like imperfect copies of perfect eternal forms. Yeah. And these forms exist in a separate realm. Think of them like blueprints for concepts like beauty, justice, courage, the good itself even.
Whoa.
For Plato, this realm of forms, this is true reality. And our world is just a shadow play of those perfect concepts.
So it's kind of like that movie, The Matrix.
Yes.
Where what people think is real is actually just a simulation.
Exactly. He might not have used the word simulation, but the idea's there. Plato believed our senses can trick us, and true knowledge, it comes from accessing these ideal forms through, you know,
oh, I see.
Reason, thought.
So how does this world of forms, how does that actually play out in our lives? Okay? Are we supposed to just ignore everything we see and hear and just...
It's not about ignoring your senses, but understanding their limits. Think about like when you see a really beautiful sunset, that feeling, that sense of awe, that could be you connecting with the form of beauty itself.
Okay.
For Plato, trying to understand and live up to these forms, even though we can't perfectly achieve them here in the physical world. Right. That's key to a good life.
Okay, so, but how do we access these forms if they're in some other realm?
Well, that's where the allegory of the cave comes in.
Ooh, yeah, I've heard that.
Imagine you're chained in a cave and all you've ever seen are...
shadows.
Shadows, projected on the wall. You'd think that was reality, right?
Yeah, I mean, if that's all I knew.
Exactly. So,
but how does the philosophy come in?
So the prisoners, they're all of us, trapped in the limits of our senses and what we think we know.
Yeah.
Escaping the cave and seeing the sun, that's like the hard... but amazing journey of philosophical enlightenment.
So it's about like breaking free from those chains and seeing like the true source of knowledge.
Exactly.
Who are the escape artists in this story?
The philosophers, the ones who question everything. And seek real understanding.
Gotcha.
But, and this is important, it's not enough to just see the truth.
Right.
They have to go back into the cave and try to enlighten others.
Oh, wow.
Even though it's hard to change people's, you know.
Yeah, beliefs.
Yeah, their deeply held beliefs.
I can imagine trying to tell someone their whole reality is an illusion.
Oh, yeah.
They'd think I was crazy.
Absolutely.
Makes you wonder, what shadows are we mistaking for reality?
That's the question.
Oh, now.
It is. Are we just accepting what we see on social media? Or are we digging deeper? Are we in echo chambers?
Yeah.
Or are we open to ideas that challenge our own?
Good point. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about platonic love.
Okay.
Most people think it just means, like, friendship.
Right.
But something tells me
there's more to it.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, that's the modern use totally misses the point. Plato was talking about eros.
Eros.
Yeah, it's a deeper yearning that goes beyond just the physical and seeks ideal beauty itself.
So it's not just about like suppressing your desires.
No, it's about like directing that desire towards something higher. Imagine being drawn to someone's beauty and letting that spark a desire to understand beauty as a concept, as a form. It's a journey from the physical to the realm of ideals.
That's a lot more interesting than just being friends.
Right.
Okay, one last thing I want to unpack before we move on. Plato's idea of the tripartite soul.
Okay. Why should we care that the soul has like 3 parts?
So he believed the soul has the rational part, the spirited part, and the appetitive part.
Okay, break that down for me.
The rational part, that's the part that seeks truth, understanding.
The spirited part drives us to action, defends our values. And the appetitive part, that's all about our basic desires, needs.
I can already see where this is going, like some inner conflict.
Exactly. Think of it as a committee in your head making decisions. The rational part might say, eat healthy, while the appetitive part screaming, cake, give me cake.
Right.
And then the spirited part might jump in and say, let's go for a run later, burn it off.
Oh, I see.
It's this interplay of reason, emotion, desire. That's what makes us human.
So it's not about picking one. No. It's about finding some kind of balance.
Yeah, balance, harmony. That was key for both individual happiness and a just society.
Okay, so this idea, it has like
huge implications.
Big implications for especially he saw an ideal society.
Especially for that. But we'll get into that next time.
All right. Looking forward to it.
So we're back, diving deeper into Plato. And last time, we were talking about that tripartite soul.
Right, the
reason, spirit, desire thing.
Yeah, that constant tug-of-war inside all of us.
Exactly.
Well, Plato, he didn't stop there. He actually used that idea to create a vision for, like, an ideal society. Laid it all out in his famous work, The Republic.
So he, took that inner struggle and made it like a blueprint for a whole society.
Exactly.
What did this utopian city look like in his mind?
Well, he imagined it structured around those three parts of the soul.
Okay.
Each part represented by a different class. At the top, you've got the philosopher kings.
Philosopher kings.
Yeah. These are the people whose rational souls are dominant.
Okay.
Driven by wisdom, deep understanding of the form.
So they're like the ones in charge in this utopia.
Exactly. Yeah. They're the best fit to rule because they can see past those
shadows.
Yeah, the shadows, the everyday opinions.
And make decisions based on real, true understanding of justice, the good.
Gotcha. So then who's next in line?
Then you've got the guardians.
Guardians, okay.
They embody the spirited part of the soul. Warriors, protectors. The ones who uphold the law. Driven by courage and duty.
So where do the people who are more driven by those basic desires, those everyday needs, where do they fit in?
That's where the producers come in.
Producers.
Craftspeople, farmers, merchants, all the folks providing essential goods and services. They're the appetitive part.
Okay.
For Plato, a just society meant each class playing its role harmoniously without overstepping.
Sounds like a well-organized system. But also kind of rigid.
Right.
Did Plato really think everyone would just neatly fit into these categories?
Well, he knew people are complex, but he thought that with the right education, the right upbringing, people could be, guided towards their proper place.
Oh, I see.
Where their dominant soul part could really thrive.
This is where it gets a little controversial.
Yeah.
Right? Because Plato, he had some pretty radical ideas.
Absolutely.
About how this ideal society would actually work. Didn't he believe in things like communal living and getting rid of private property?
Yeah, for the ruling classes, he thought private property and wealth, those were sources of corruption, inequality. He believed communal living would create a stronger sense of unity, shared responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty radical even for today. I bet those ideas caused some arguments back then.
I'm sure they did.
But practically speaking, how did he imagine this whole philosopher king system working? It doesn't seem easy to find people who are both super wise and want to be in charge.
Well, he knew it wouldn't be easy. He said true philosopher kings, they'd be rare. Individuals who possess both a love of wisdom and concern for the common good.
Okay.
But he believed that with the right kind of rigorous education, these folks could be identified and nurtured from a young age.
So it's not about being born into power,
right?
But developing the right qualities through education.
Exactly.
What kind of education did he have in mind?
He envisioned a system that focused on both the mind and body. Music, mathematics, gymnastics.
Wow, quite a mix.
And of course, philosophy.
Of course.
Yeah, for Plato, education was the key to shaping virtuous citizens and to ultimately achieving a just and harmonious society.
It seems to be a recurring theme here. this
That's
idea of education being super important.
It is. He really believed in its power to transform. And for him, it wasn't just about learning facts. It was about shaping the soul itself,
right?
Guiding individuals towards a love of wisdom, a life of virtue.
Okay. Now, this might be surprising, but did you know Plato actually had a pretty big influence on Christianity? Really? I just thought those two things, like ancient Greek philosophy and Christianity, were pretty different.
I know, right? But the connections are fascinating.
Okay, so what are some of the key links?
Well, look at the concept of dualism.
Dualism.
The idea that there's a separation between the material world and a higher spiritual realm that resonates with the Christian idea of
the body and soul.
Exactly, the body and soul.
So Plato's world of forms, that realm of perfect concepts, could be seen as like a precursor to the Christian idea of heaven.
In a way, yes. And then there's his emphasis on the soul's immortality.
Right.
Which also resonated with
eternal life.
With Christian beliefs about eternal life, yeah. Early Christian thinkers, they were drawn to this idea that the soul can go beyond the limits of the physical body.
I can see why that would appeal to them.
Yeah.
This concept of the soul living on after death.
Yeah.
It's powerful, whether you're coming at it from like a philosophical angle
right.
or a religious one.
It's a really enduring idea.
It really is. It's amazing to see how Plato's ideas, after centuries of development of thought, religion, they eventually found a place within Christianity.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. It really shows how powerful these ancient concepts can be.
They really do have a lasting impact.
They do. So I think we need to shift gears a bit now.
Okay.
Start thinking about what all of this means for us. For us today.
In the 21st century.
Yeah, because, that's the whole point of this deep dive, right?
Absolutely.
To understand why Plato's philosophy still matters in our modern world.
That's the goal.
We've covered a lot, from the world of forms to philosopher kings, but now I'm ready to bridge that gap between ancient Athens and our own lives.
Yeah.
What would Plato say about the challenges we face today? The opportunities.
That's a great question.
Yeah, let's unpack all of that in the final part of our deep dive. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our Plato deep dive.
Right.
We've explored his mind-blowing ideas, seen how they connect to our lives today, and hopefully got you all curious to keep learning about him.
Definitely.
But now the big question: how does all this ancient wisdom actually apply to us? Here, now, in the 21st century.
That's the amazing thing about Plato. His ideas, they transcend time and place. Even though he was around over 2,000 years ago, the questions he was thinking about, they're still relevant, maybe even more urgent now in our, crazy, ever-changing world.
I see what you mean. So it's not just about appreciating history. It's about finding ways to actually use this stuff.
It's about application. Yeah.
Can you give us some concrete examples? How does Plato's philosophy still resonate in our lives?
Okay, well, let's think back to that allegory of the cave.
Okay, yeah.
How do we get information today? News feeds, social media, targeted ads, all this stuff.
It's everywhere.
Are we really getting different viewpoints, or are we trapped in our own little bubble?
Oh, the echo chambers.
Yes, echo chambers, exactly. And mistaking those shadows for the whole picture.
It's so easy to just see what confirms what we already believe,
It is, and that's exactly what Plato is warning us about. To break free from those chains, question what we think we know, seek real understanding, even when it's
uncomfortable.
Yeah, even when it's tough. Remember, true knowledge for him, it wasn't just facts.
Right.
It was about challenging those shadows and trying to see the real light, the truth.
So it's he's telling us to be more careful about what we believe.
Absolutely.
More critical thinkers, better citizens in this digital age.
Yeah, exactly. Be responsible with information.
What about his focus on education? How does that fit into our world today?
Well, he believed education was key to creating virtuous citizens and a just society, but it wasn't just about memorizing stuff, passing tests. It was about cultivating this love of wisdom, commitment to truth, the ability to really think for yourself.
That's a pretty tall order.
It is.
What do you think he'd say about our education system now?
Oh, interesting question.
All the standardized testing, the rote learning.
Yeah, he might say we're too focused on measuring things and not enough on developing, wisdom, character, a real desire to learn. Remember, for him, education was about shaping the soul.
Right. It was about more than just facts and figures.
Yeah, it was about something deeper.
Okay, let's talk politics. Plato's vision of a republic led by philosopher kings might seem a little out there in our democracy.
Right.
But are there any parts of his political ideas
I think so
that still work today?
Well, the philosopher king idea, maybe not so practical, but his emphasis on leadership that's based on wisdom, virtue, genuine care for the common good, that's timeless. We need leaders who can see past their own interests and make decisions based on, justice, what's truly best for everyone.
It's less about a specific system.
Exactly.
More about the qualities of the leaders themselves.
Exactly.
And what about that tripartite soul idea?
Good one.
How can that help us navigate, life in the 21st century?
Remember that inner battle.
Yeah.
Reason, emotion, desire. Plato believed that understanding those parts of ourselves, trying to get them to work together, that was key to a good, fulfilling life.
So it's like a guide for self-awareness.
Yeah.
Personal growth.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing those different voices inside us and making choices that align with our best selves.
That's a great way to put it. Well, everyone, we've reached the end of our Plato deep dive.
Wow, time flies.
We've unpacked his incredible ideas, seen how they connect to our lives, and hopefully sparked your curiosity to keep learning.
I hope so.
So any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Yeah, as you go forth from this deep dive, remember what Plato was all about. It wasn't just the specific ideas.
Right.
It was that spirit of questioning, of challenging, of never stopping the search for truth and meaning, even when it's hard.
That's a perfect note to end on. Keep those philosophical fires burning, everyone. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep into the ideas that have shaped our world.
Exactly.
Till next time.